Somerset rally as Gloucestershire collapse. Sitting second in the Central Group, Somerset were cruelly denied a comprehensive victory by the weather in their last match against Warwickshire. Their round 4 opponents Gloucestershire were also hampered by the weather last time out, settling for a draw, so both sides were keen to get off to a strong start in Taunton. Somerset's top order had struggled so far this season, and they were down a wicket in the 3rd over, as David Payne sent Eddie Byram back to the pavilion for a duck. After a short rain delay, Tom Abel quickly found his range for the hosts to move them to 29 for 1. But the Somerset captain would fail to add any more, pushing at a Josh Shaw delivery and falling for just 10. James Hildreth would lead a small recovery for Somerset as they headed into lunch at 42 for 2. With conditions favouring the bowlers, the Gloucestershire attack set about capitalising, and star bowler Ryan Higgins had his first wicket of the day with a fine delivery to send Hildreth back for 13 and leave the visitors on top. And not for the first time this tournament, the Somerset top order was swiftly removed. Higgins again doing the damage, removing Tom Lammonby thanks to some sharp reflexes from Tom Lace. 22-year-old George Bartlett did his best to rebuild with back-to-back boundaries. But just as a partnership with Steve Davis looked on the cards, a moment Davis won't want to see again. A wayward shot which took an edge, the hosts 89 for 5. With Somerset's lower order having made match-defining runs this season, Craig Overton signalled his intentions with the bat in his second ball faced. 2 more from Overton brought up the 100 for Somerset, as his partnership with Bartlett began to flourish, with the score at 138 for 5 at tea. The fight back continued into the evening session, and a much-needed innings from Bartlett, who brought up his 50 with a boundary, a first of the season. Craig Overton continued to impress with the bat, smashing Higgins away for another boundary to move Somerset to 162 for 5. But Higgins would get revenge in the very next over, trapping Overton, who departed for 32 and bringing a 6th wicket stand of 75 to an end. Having toiled so long to find that breakthrough, Gloucestershire had another 6 balls later. Roelof van der Merwe tried to force David Payne's delivery away, only to be scooped up by George Hankins, with the hosts now 7 down for 165. Payne struck again in the same over, this time Jamie Overton the victim, to round off a fine spell and leave Somerset back in danger of being rolled cheaply. In came Josh Davey, who couldn't resist a fuller delivery from Higgins, compounding a miserable spell for Somerset, who lost 4 wickets for 12 runs in just 27 balls. But true to form, they wouldn't roll over. Bartlett and Jack Brooks took it in turns to find the boundaries and further frustrate Gloucestershire. And that was compounded with a dropped catch. Brooks's shot fumbled at first slip, with the score on 199. He'd compose himself to guide Somerset to 200 and rub salt in the wounds. Gloucestershire were left scratching their heads as Brooks and Bartlett brought up 50 runs for the 10th wicket in just 50 balls, as they moved to 226 for 9. Bartlett would round off a fine innings and reach a well-deserved century. Before Brooks fell the very next ball as Gloucestershire breathed a sigh of relief, with Somerset's first innings eventually coming to an end, all out for 237. However, their reply got off to the worst possible start. Chris Dent misjudged the line of Craig Overton's delivery to head back, having posted just 5 runs. 3 overs later and it was Josh Davies' turn to get in on the act, as an out-of-form Ben Charlesworth edged to leave Gloucestershire 9 for 2. Somerset continued to show their ruthless streak with the ball, and Overton had his second wicket 5 balls later, with a delivery that nipped back to catch Graham Van Buren out, now 9 for 3. And the viewing got even worse for the visitors. Davey this time catching out Josh Shaw to leave them in real trouble at 9 for 4. Momentum shifted back and forth in day 1, but after that devastating spell with the ball, Somerset had left the Gloucestershire middle order with it all to do to stand a chance in day 2.